So, um, okay. So, um, I was telling the story about how this all began, and it kind of goes back to my very first classes in Tai Chi and yoga. And one reason why I tell that story is because then for the next, well, forever since then, I've practiced both Tai Chi and yoga together as though that was just the way you did it. I could see immediately the parallel pathways that they were taking. They had different cultural expression, but they were very much the same thing. Tai Chi is a kind of yoga. For those who I was talking to a yoga teacher up in Indiana about this just the other day, and she was like, "I've never done any Tai Chi," and I'm like, "Well, Tai Chi is a kind of yoga." And she's like, "Oh, okay." So fast forward about 10 years, and I had friends in both communities, the yoga community and the Tai Chi community, and both of those different groups thought that I was crazy for studying the other modality. Like all my yoga friends was like, "You do Tai Chi? What's up with Tai Chi? I don't get the Tai Chi thing." And my Tai Chi people was like, "Are you still doing yoga?" Because I'm like, "You don't get it. Like this is the Reese's peanut butter cup of movement. It's got the two together." And and that began an appreciation for how you could use the different cultural creations that were on the same kind of path of movement, movement, as in this context, are rituals. They are ritualistic expressions. And as Joseph Campbell says, a ritual is the memory of the magic. That at one point, there was a real magic that happened, as that you experienced in a certain mystical situation, and there were magicians or shaman who made this magic happen, and then you had this you know out of body kind of experience, and then the magic began to recede into the background, but what was left over was the ritual, and the ritual still embodies the magic. And so that's what we're doing when we're doing Tai Chi. That's what we're doing when we're doing yoga. So it's how do we take that magic and that ritual and create sort of like these little different ways of experience, these little different meditations, these little different dances to do that. In the beginning, I didn't really always understand what it was that I was creating. Like I didn't understand how powerful they would be, and to what end they could be used. But as time went on, my work has become more and more around the topic of flow, and flow is the word that we use to describe what it feels like to be in the most authentic place, right? And in that authentic experience of yourself, right? It's timeless, it's selfless, it's effortless, it's joyful. All of these kinds of experience, and 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 completely unself-conscious. And the thing about flow that's I I know I emphasize this, and people are like, "Yeah, yeah, we get it, DDR." But I'm like, "No, you don't get it. You don't understand yet. I would see this sea change in you if you really got it. That flow is your natural state. It is how you were born. It is the way that we should be 24/7. And the Buddhist concept of suffering, right, is the fact that we are not experiencing it 24/7. That's the definition. That non-experience, that absence of experience, that's the suffering that we're all in there, right? And so, but it's still there. It's like it didn't go anywhere. It didn't disappear. It wasn't taken away. It wasn't killed. It's just, you know, like locked. It's blocked. It's interfered with. And so we can start to unblock it, take away the things that are in the way, then flow naturally and spontaneously. Just wow, it just comes out. And then you're back in that authentic, like I'm watching you guys dance, and there's these moments when okay, the music really broke through, and you're just like, "Ah," I just, and then you get self-conscious, right? And then that moment when you were completely like into the movement and the music, that's what it feels like. That's how you, like, fuck, like imagine from the time you wake up in the morning until the time your eyes close at night, that's the way you feel all day long. And it wouldn't interfere with anything else. It wouldn't interfere with getting work done. It wouldn't interfere with the relationships that you have. It wouldn't interfere with anything. It would just, you'd be riding in that space the whole time, right? That's what this is, right? And so, what the fusion classes have become is, they're targeted ways of removing the blocks so that we can be in that space, right? And they're meant to be done over and over and over again because, it took us 45, 50 years to build up all those blockages. So it's going to take a little while to undo those blockages. And so it's like, I want you to do it again. And I want you to have so much fun that you'll come back and you go like, yeah, I just want to do it for the dancing. I just want to do it for the music. And meanwhile, it's whittling away at the blocks. Like you don't have to be aware of that. You don't have to be like intentional about getting all rid of all the blocks. It's like, no, it's going to take care of itself. I just want you to come back and do the ritual. Does that make sense? So, each one of the five elements, one of the five fusion formats targets a different particular kind of blockage. And one of the blocks is that we forget how to have fun. Like our definition of fun is so much different than what our definition of fun was at age of 4. Like you want to know how to have fun, go hang out with a 4-year-old and then see if you can keep up. Right. Right. So we forgot how to do it. We forgot how to have fun. And so, the Mother Earth fusion is deliberately designed to, get you to a point where you have to say, oh, screw it. like I can't keep up with all the arm movements. I forgot about this, or like, what is he doing over there? Or like, okay, that was just bizarre. That's the point. That's why I say it's messy, it's muddy, it's not precise, it's deliberately like chaotic in a way, just like Mother Earth is chaotic. Mother Earth, like there's no straight lines in nature. You know how they find ancient civilizations, and archaeologists go and they look in the Amazon forest for ancient temples, right? They go over they go overhead with radar or whatever, and they find straight lines. And wherever they find a straight line, they know that's an ancient structure because Earth, nature doesn't do straight lines, right? So Mother Earth fusion is like that, and that's what we're doing this weekend. Now, the structure of this is that we are going to explore 3 different groups of animals that will express because the earth gives rise to its flora and fauna, and so we're going to explore 3 different groups of animals. There's some plant life in there a little bit here and there. um, Animals from the water, animals from the land, animals from the air. So there's that. And then bookending that exploration is something that I learned from one of my teachers. We're just going to have so much fun with it, called the 5 moving forces. Great forces of nature, but they're not static, they're moving, right? So fire and water and wood, which is anything growing and moving and expanding. The precious things that we dig out of the earth, like jewels and gold and iron, right? And then finally the earth itself, the 5 moving forces. And so that's the first thing we're going to start with. We'll begin with sort of breaking down a bit of choreography around that, just so that we can have some fun with that. Yes. Yeah. Let's, okay. Yes. But, but first, but first, we have to do some words. Um, yeah. So how many people have seen, well, we were just talking about this morning, the Tesla truck. Yeah, the other, everybody's like, but what I didn't know until this morning, and this works in so well, is like so that apparently Elon Musk wanted to have his engineers make something that looked like a transformer. Do you guys know what transformers are? The cartoon, all right? All right. So then they made that cartoon into a movie. And do you guys know who was the director of the movie? He's a guy who does all kinds of action films. His name was Michael Bay. So you have to start out with this. You have to repeat after him. Michael Bay. Michael Bay. Yeah, like big, like that. Michael Bay. Right. He's gonna like get residuals just for us saying this or Michael Bay. Right. All right. Then there's the next word that we have to learn is uh what sound does a dog make? Arf. Okay, but if you were reading, like a 1930s textbook, what would dog or you're thinking too artistic. Yeah. Bow wow. Yes. Is it or is it an 80s rapper? Bow wow. Right? So bow wow. Bow wow. Bow wow. Yes, you're not getting out of this alive. You have to say these words. Bow wow. All right. And then when you put it all together, when we're done with the whole weekend, you're gonna go, oh my God, how this was way cool. Thank you so much. All right. Now you've just all had your Chinese lesson for the day here. So and I'll do it as we go along. All right, so here is our basic transition. This is our closing sectional movement and getting us into another movement here as well. So we're just going to start off with dropping right down into the earth. Just drop, and then it comes up and over the top. And when you do this, you go, Michael Bay. There's a significant lack of enthusiasm. Okay, well, you will. Put the woohoo into Michael Bay, right? All right, so we're here. We drop into the drops, and then here we go, Michael Bay, and then we go, Bow Wow, and then way cool. All right, it's coming together. It's coming together. Yes, we're scaring the mailman. It's all right. That's good. One more time. You're right here. It drops over the top, and then we say Michael Bay, and then it's Bow Wow, and then way cool. Oh, that that's the earth element. That right. So this right down. This is the earth element, and then we gather it all together and finish off the earth element. Okay. Now I'll give you the clue about. So this thing that comes up to the top here is a movement in Tai Chi that we translate as sliding right through the back, right through the spine, right? And in Chinese, it's actually Shandong Bei. Shandong Bei, not exactly Michael Bay, but that was close, wasn't it? So Shandong Bay. So we right. So it drops and then it's Shandong Bay. Yeah, that was really good. Now, when it comes all the way around and down here, this is embracing the tiger, right? You're embracing the tiger right under here. So the word in Chinese for embracing is bao, like bow wow. And then tiger is who, like who you, right? So this is bow who. And then here. Stay right there. Stay right there. In Chinese language, the character for the mountain shows sort of three vertical lines. So we have one vertical line, you put your hand on here, one vertical, and then you're the middle because the middle line is taller. So this is returning to the mountain, and it's Wei Shan. So not way cool, but Wei Shan is way cool, right? So after we do Bao Hu Wei Shan. Yes. And so that is how we end and then begin each new section of Mother Earth Fusion. Does that make sense? So this is our basic transition. So one more time, we're going to start right here and just drop it. And then who's this? Shandong Bay. By the way, if you say Michael Bay, it'll be okay. And then Bao Hu Wei Shan. Nice. Shandong is a champagne. That's right. Okay, that works for me. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Wait. I'm gonna have to think about alcoholic names for each one of these now. All right, that's my obviously my homework there. All right. What am I doing next? We're just gonna break down the whole thing. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay, good. All right, so that's a perfect amount of time. Perfect amount of time. Okay. So the five elements, the five moving forces, fire, water, wood, then gold or jewels or iron, whatever, metal is the, all these things are being translated into English. So it's like, gotta play with me a little bit here. And then finally, earth itself. So the five elements. So the five moving forces begins with fire. Actually, before it even begins with fire, it starts with an opening of the heart, right? So when we talk about, we did this in class today, I said, give yourself a hug. So the hug is on its way to opening up the heart. Right, exactly. So you're just gonna like open up and rise. Again, this is very organic. There's no specific choreography how to get to however you get there. We're just gonna like open it up here, right? Give yourself a hug, and then it's going to open the heart. And this whole heart thing here is exposed. The heart is the organ associated with fire, right? So we're going to expose that fiery organ right there as we do that. Now, the choreography that my teacher taught us is as I open up this thing, we step back with one foot, and we do both sides. So does it matter? No, but I'm just going to say we're going to start with on the right side here. So as I begin to open up the heart, I'm going to take one little step back just to open up here, and then I'm going to let it sizzle for a minute. Sizzle. And then in the crotch of the foot that stepped back, that arm digs in. So now I am touching earth and, well, leg. Earth, sky. Yeah, thank you. That is a earth and sky. Yeah. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Right. So there we are. Okay, so that gets us into sort of the beginning of the fire. So let's grow into this space opening up. Give yourself a hug. Then open up that heart. Let it sizzle for a minute there. Let it simmer. And yes, the embers begin to glow. Right. And then we draw all of this fire down into the belly here. Right. We sort of gather, like I'm gathering all the little embers right here in the fire in the belly. And you can spend as much time as you want to here. Like like so ideally throughout all of the movements in Mother Earth fusion, I'm going to talk about it, give you a cue or whatever. But what we're really trying to get to is, oh, I felt something. Oh, like my stomach gurgled. Oh, yeah, that's my chili from yesterday. Like whatever. Like I hope not. Because it's red. Yes, yes, yeah. So when we look at Chinese medicine, right? So the question really comes down to the Chinese medical aspect of all of this. So there are both yin organs and yang organs. So yang organs tend to be organs, and sometimes you think about them exactly the same way you think about Western anatomy, and sometimes they're not quite the same. But a yin organ is something in which the tissues are fairly solid. So like your liver for now liver is a different season, different element, whatever, but let's imagine how the liver is dense and but the heart has chambers. It has an opening in there, so it is the yin organ associated with the element of fire, also the season of the summer, also passion, and courage. All these things are part of the fire element there. Yeah. And then they would, and also sometimes, oh, the yin organs, the yin elements also have a downside. So there is an aspect of each element that's something to be cautious about. So what you would have to be cautious about with the heart is getting like ADD, so to speak, like ADHD, like they call it over happy is again, it's a weird translation. Yeah, it's just I'm over happy. It's like everything is yes, that's right. I am a puppy. Exactly. That's right. That's right. All right. So that's what we're opening up there. That's the first thing. All right. So let's grow into that. Let's take it in. Let's open up the heart. Right. It sizzles. And then gathers all into the belly, all that heat to that fire that, now we get to be intentional about it. I'm going to focus all that fire and go one step forward, right? And that is the fire going out. Now, as the fire goes out, it rises, right? It rises all the way to the top here and then descends, and it descends now as water. So this is the water element, and you don't want a deluge. You want a nice gentle sprinkle of rain all the way down. And I do like I love this sometimes, just like being very tactile, very sensual as it comes down, and then it's shared. It waters all of the area around you. Right? So let's do this. Now, notice one thing that I haven't done that I often do when I teach you guys movements is what I was talking about the breath. The breath is just breathe as you want. There's no particular inhalation, exhalation cycle. It's just,
Add to that,
yeah,
it's very natural when the hands go up, the breath
yeah,
goes, right? Because you're adding
yeah.
more space and then, right? So
Hmm.
instead of saying breathe in, breathe out, breathe.
Right, just breathe. Exactly. So Adele is pointing out how natural this is. That everything comes up and then the breath comes in and then everything goes out. And like I always just want to go big exhale, but don't feel like you have to stop and go. Okay, shit, did I breathe in there the right place? Like it's not like that at all. Okay. After you have watered the earth, then what comes out of the earth is the wood is something growing. And here we can sort of break out of our space. So we've been sort of here in space, step back, step forward. Now let's let's expand like wood expands, like growing things expand. And so we have um, I literally, just to keep things straight so that your brain doesn't break, I have stepped back with one foot. The foot that I have stepped back with is now a natural and sort of organic way to turn into that direction. You see how that to turn into the opposite direction might be a little awkward. So this is I take a step into this direction, into this corner, and then keep on going with a big circle. The circle doesn't have to be distinct. It can wander, right? You can wander in this circle all the way around, right? You can do more than one. You can do multiple circles. You can kind of give it another one here. But as when you come back to your center, the opposite hand reaches skyward and brings down treasure. And then the other one brings down treasure, the gold, the jinn, the jinn. So I have to fill in the blank on this story that I told about the jinn. This is a true story, by the way. This is I didn't make this up. This is a true story. So why this is so funny um, is that several years ago I was traveling again. I was on and my eyes are getting worse and worse as we go. So I was at the little store at the airport buying like a pack of gum or something like that, and I couldn't read it. So, because I didn't have my glasses with me, so I asked the woman behind the counter if she could read, does it have this or whatever? And she was like, this is odd that he's like, yes, that's the true thing there. And so like, okay, then I pulled out my credit card to do, and I can't make the fucking credit card work. So she leans over, she goes, sir, are you traveling alone? She was like, it was like I was in trouble somehow. And so this thing at the grocery store is another example of, sir, are you traveling alone? Because that's the first thing my wife says to me every time now that I have any kind of a, no, it's not my birthday. I'm just alone for once. Okay, so yes, gin. That's what we're doing here. Gin, 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 gin. Okay, let's go back to the beginning here, just so I can keep track with myself here. So let's see. We grow into some kind of beginning position. By the way, for those of you who've done classical before, you could do sinking the chi to start with. Sink the chi. Ah, this is perfectly fine. You're familiar with that. And it comes up here and it opens up the heart. And here I am, and I'm going to open up my heart. Ah, embers glowing, heaven and earth connect. And I gather all of that fire finally into the belly, focusing the belly, and put my fire out into the world. Ah, and then the results of that come back to me in the form of rain, the blessings of rain from the sky, the kiss of the gods, and they water all over everything. And then grow something special, grow something spectacular. All the way around. Jin, 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 jin. And the earth gathers once more in the belly here. And so now I have all of those fire and water and wood and everything. They all stir up here in the belly. And then they drop right through the center. And Michael Bay, Bao Hu, Wei Shan. Nice. And then we'll take a break. Let's pause for a second there and let you guys just play with this. Just play with this and find actually, get a partner and you guys can play together doing this. And then we'll do the other side. Yeah. 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 That's my favorite kind of rain. Yes. Yes, I do. I got you. I got you. No, I just stay relevant. That's all. Cool shit.
Yeah, let's do that last part again.
It's way cool. Way cool. It's so like stick with Michael Bay for a while. Michael Bay, Bow Wow, and then way cool. Yeah, yeah, right. So this is the flow method I talk about all the time. It's like this because I've always do Tai Chi with it, and we're always talking about movement or whatever. But the flow method is for everything, and it works really well with language, right? So what do we say at the very beginning of the flow method? I don't care what you do; everything is perfect, right? Like, what does it look like? Do the best. It's like Roger, no, Michael Bay. Like that's fucking close enough. Like Michael Bay, there's all the time in the world to like get the little this finesse. Exactly, exactly. Same thing with your movements. Same thing with the words.
See,
Yeah,
stuff. So,
yes,
I'm a road cyclist, so that's fairly clean.
that's fairly clean.
So, but I have been dabbling in mountain biking over the last couple of
Oh,
years.
there you go.
It's dirty girl business. And so here a while back, I'm traveling. I'm almost gone. I've fallen in the biggest mud pile of all times. I mean, just one side of me was just brown.
And
And I had to just like the earth.
just like okay, all right, here we are. You're just gonna like yes,
to enjoy mountain
you,
biking.
you
And it's very, don't, no, I have to be
yeah.
forced to. I have to fall in the mud pit.
You have to fall in the mud puddle and then you take it and you go, I think I need some on this side. Yeah, that's what you got to do. That's right. Ah, okay. All right. Ooh, that's a good word. That's a great word. The alchemy. I love it. It's an entirely Michael Bay. Bow wow. Way cool. Hey, I want to do a little something before you get too far. Um, this morning in class, I was like, let's start with our feet. So here, I want you to just do a little something with me. Just like curl your toes and like grind in with your feet a little bit here. So this is something that I sometimes I don't point out when I'm doing my classes, doing my movement, but I'm actually always doing something with my feet. In class, a lot of times I'm wearing shoes, you can't see it, but in fact, I'm always doing so. So there's never a static position. There's never a position in which I've stopped moving, like because I have ADD. So I am over happy is what I've got here. So I've always got some kind of there's something happening with my feet. It may look like I'm standing still, but in fact, there's something going on in the feet the whole time. Always, always. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When so work it, like get into the feet there. And then, so then here we are, we're growing. It may look like I'm not going anywhere, but in fact, my feet are still active. And then it gets opened up here. And even here, like in my feet, there's still something happening, right? It's not just standing still, right? The weight is shifting imperceptibly from my toes through my ball of my foot, and everything is now here. Definitely, you can feel the body moving over your feet, and then whoa, look at all that big into the feet and back into the feet again, and then here's a really good thing about the feet is the force of gravity. Like, we're fighting gravity all the time. What if you like gave in a little bit here? Give in to gravity. It's like let gravity win a little bit as this comes down. Oh, in my feet. That's where I'm gonna like, kiss and make up with gravity right down there. And then here we go. Open, creeping around, around, all the way. Jin. Bring it into the feet. We're going to do some exercises later in this weekend where we're going to talk about this getting into the feet here. So make this a body memory, right? Because we're gonna come back to this. Here we go. Michael Bay. Wow, wow. Wei Shan. Way cool. Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Let me check and make sure I've got my mic on. And I think I do. Yes, I do. All right. So one of the reasons that we, DDR and I came up with the music magic, the language of music, break state, is because one of the elements that we're working with in great connection with is the element of music in, when you call it element, call it whatever you want, in Mother Earth Fusion, and finding that connection to the music so it creates this magical experience. We often say that in Nia. You know, we have music and we combine movement, and what comes out of that, the alchemy, the magic, right? So what DDR and I have done is we have come up with music that is approximately 5 minutes long. That doesn't mean that you can't find your own music, but 5 minutes is pretty ideal when it comes to doing each one of the combinations. This combo is called the 5 moving forces. It is the first combo of Mother Earth Fusion. All right. So we have a song that we put on, and you'll see both of us dancing. He may do it different than I do it. That's part of getting in the mud. And you know what when you combine the earth and water, what happens? You know, you come up with mud, right? So this is about letting go, as he's already expressed, into joy, which is ultimately where we started on this earth, right? And we all want to reconnect to ourselves in that way. So that's why we had that break state where we just listened to the language of music, the rhythm, the melody, the harmony, and connected to it. Why? So that all of our ears, not just these, but every cell in our body becomes more connected to the music itself, so that the magic just happens when we move. And I saw that in you, Brenda, when I put, there were certain songs and this big smile came out. She was very much connected to the music. And we were all born with natural music, the beat of our heart. So I'm going to put on music and we're going to dance and do the 5 forces. And this particular song is wonderful. It is available on Spotify, and it's one of my favorite groups. And you will hear them also breathing. Close your eyes. I'm repeating it. I'm going to put on the music and give yourself a second to sip and drink through your skin. Sip the music in through your skin. Where the music went, so hold on. Zoom back on. All right, so time for a break. Woohoo! And we have until 1:30 for lunch, and really everybody in here knows where to go, what to do. I don't feel like I need to give you a bunch of instructions, but who doesn't have a car? Turn this off. Hi guys, we'll see you in a bit.